Hi, it's Patrick LeGreed from Halfwheel, and today I'm taking a look at the Colibri Quasar II, the newest addition to Colibri's Quasar collection of accessories, and the first pocket torch lighter in that collection. The Quasar II is a single-action dual flame torch lighter that also offers a built-in 9mm punch cutter that slides out from the base, a blue-tinted fuel window on the back, and a flame adjuster wheel. Additionally, Colibri states that the lighter will work at elevations up to 10,000 feet. Now, it measures about 3 inches tall by 1 3/8 inches wide by about 7/8 of an inch thick and weighs a fairly hefty 5.7 ounces. It's offered in 7 colors: black, silver, gunmetal, red, blue, green, and this navy option, all of which have an MSRP of $99 and come with a gift box and a 2-year warranty. Now, the Colibri Quasar II gets its inspiration from 2 places. First, of course, is the Quasar Collection, which includes an existing lighter, this guy, the Quasar Table Lighter, which debuted in 2019, and is a beefy triple flame table lighter, one that is certainly not pocket friendly, as it weighs almost 2 pounds, but certainly is a nice statement piece for your tabletop. It also gets inspiration from another one of Colibri's releases, the Colibri Slide, which came out in November 2016, and which moved away from the traditional ignition method of a button by creating a body that slides up inside the frame of the lighter. Now, it's still a single action ignition, just a different single action ignition than most lighters. And as you can see, those 2 screws sticking up, as you push this up, that gets the butane flowing and provides a spark. You let it go and out it goes. Now, let's get into the lighter portion first. So this is running on a fairly full tank of butane. And when the Quasar II has been recently filled, it is a pretty solid lighter. Yet, when I was using it, especially in the early days, when I thought I had the lighter calibrated, it still felt like it wasn't quite right. The flame might sputter, it wouldn't ignite properly, and it just took a lot of fine-tuning to really feel like I could get the lighter into a place where it would consistently light and, effectively just not be frustrating. Now, while every lighter will run out of butane eventually, the way the Quasar II does it feels particularly frustrating, starting strong before quickly extinguishing itself, as opposed to a bit of sputtering or just some gradual flame height decrease that I find with other lighters. Now, as for the punch cutter, it works decently. The way you get it out is you push this button on the back and it slides out like that. Now, I am not a regular punch cutter user, but it still felt like it could do the job. The trick with it, though, is there's only so much space. As you can see, there's a ridge right there, and that limits just how big of a cigar you can put in there. Now, I tested it out with a 56 ring gauge, and it seemed to work okay. It got the job done, but that was approaching the upper boundary of really where it felt comfortable. Now, again, as I said, I'm not a punch cutter user, and if you don't smoke terribly thick cigars, it'll probably do the job just fine, but it still feels like this may not be the best option if you are a serious punch cutter user. Now, there's also the issue of there not being a mechanism to eject the tobacco from the cutter. So, as you know, if you use a punch cutter, you'll get a little bit of tobacco in there. You have to manually push that out, blow it out, use a tool, something like that. Something that either seems like an oversight or an unfortunate concession to get the punch cutter in. Now, speaking about the flame adjuster, again, it's fine, and you use your thumb to kind of roll this little wheel, kind of half wheel, to a spot where you want. But in my experience and my preferences, I'm a bigger fan of the larger versions. The one that either has the flip up tab, and Jetline uses that, or the ones on other models where the adjuster spans the actual width of the lighter. Again, this works. I just don't think it's the best option out there. And since we're talking about the flame adjuster, I have to point out that the fuel valve, which is in that little hole right there, seems to be a bit more recessed than standard. Now, the first couple of times that I went to fill up the lighter, my can of butane actually got stuck, and I had to really pull on the lighter and the can to separate them. I also use this little bleeder tool a lot of the time. This is from Jetline, and this can just barely reach where the valve is. And so, again, I don't know if it's actually more recessed or I'm just making it up, but it definitely feels different than most other lighters. Now, if you're a collector of the Colibri Quasar series and you like the design, I can totally understand wanting to pick this up. And if you're willing to put up with maybe not what I'd call flaws, but just not quite perfections, and you're okay with the price, the Quasar II is a fine lighter. But in my experience, there are better dual flame options, both from Colibri and other companies, and often at a lower price point than the Quasar 2, that make for a more appealing option if you care more about function than form. Once again, this is the Colibri Quasar 2. Thanks so much for checking out this review. And for more coverage of the premium cigar industry, check out halfwheel.com.